Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve and here we're all about self-actualization. We're all about becoming more conscious and improving our lives and living more profound lives and creating a better experience and honoring our existence. So today's video is going to be nice and simple. I thought let me give some principles or tips for those who are just beginning their journey, right? It's a very overwhelming domain to step into. There's new terms, new ways of life. You're changing your habits, you're changing your mind, you're reading books, you're watching videos. There's a whole realm, right? And it can get very overwhelming. And I think a lot of people, obviously they want to grow and they want to get better, but some people, they don't know how, right? So it's very complicated. So today I'm going to give 5 very simple ideas that you can use. Now write them down. And this is for those who are right at the beginning, or for those that have just started who are also feeling a little bit overwhelmed or confused, or they want a little bit more direction. So these are just 5 tips that you can keep in mind. Now I want you to write these down, and after the video, once you've done this or during the next few days, just think about them and ask some questions about them and try see where you can fit these in. So number 1 is to start with just pure observation, right? And what this means is when you begin your journey of self-actualization, before learning too much, before trying to change too much and implement these habits and remove these habits and change this and learn about this and overwhelm yourself with so much stuff, right? All you need to do is just start to develop the art of observation, becoming aware, just noticing your life, the pieces in your life, how they work, what's sort of disserving you, what's serving you more, and just start to observe it like it were a movie and take notes of what's going on. That's all you need to do. And you'd be surprised how much you will learn, and even sometimes how much actually changes in your life just through noticing things. So tip number 1 is before you overwhelm yourself, just learn to observe and just start to get a lay of the land of your life, right? Then number 2 is getting new ideas from books. Now, I know just now I said just start with observation, but once you feel like you've settled in your practice of observation, the next step is to gently introduce new ideas that are different from your original way of thinking. And the best way to do this is from books. So the key here is that your mind thinks a certain way, you have beliefs, you have attitudes, you have your rigid ideology, and it's important to grow. One thing that's important for you to grow is to introduce very conscious and new ideas into the system that challenge you and start to show you, new things you need to think about, or ways to change, or practices that you haven't considered before. So step number 2 is to just gently introduce these new ideas through reading. You can use videos, whatever form it takes. You can read research papers, whatever it is. It's just about growing your current mental structure, right? Then number 3, which I think is probably the most important, is when you start to grow, just focus on the basic areas. Self-development is this big, right? It ranges from self-help all the way through to spiritual awakening. That is the whole spectrum of self-actualization. If you're just starting, just start with the basics. And what do I mean by the basics? This could be different for different people. There'll be different areas where you need a little bit more work than others. But when I say basic areas, I mean things like money, things like relationships, things like how you design your space, things like your habits, the little systems you have in place, your career, even something like purpose is a little bit slightly further down, but it's quite a basic thing. It's your career and your purpose. Another few basic things are just your effectiveness as a human, your levels of productivity, how well can you sit down and do the work you need to do, how organized are you, things like this, right? Very basic, very close to home, not too lofty or spiritual or too epistemological or anything. It's just how effective are you as a basic human being? And there's a lot of books about this. There's a lot of books about health and money and spending and budgeting and your ability to lead and taking responsibility and thinking and beliefs. There's a whole bunch of books, but the key thing here is just to start with a few basics, not even all of those that I mentioned, just a few basics that you feel are lacking a little bit. And how do you know what's lacking? Well, that takes you back to step number one, which was just to start observing for a few weeks. And that's how you will notice that, for example, your spending is very ineffective. And now you've observed that, and now you can start with that as a basic thing, right? So number three kind of ties into number one. Then number four is to get a journal. And here I'm not asking you to get very complicated with your journaling or to, build a whole massive journaling habit just yet. It's just about taking what you've observed from number one, taking the new ideas from number two, taking the few basic things you want to work on from number three, and just starting to track them somewhere, just to groove the same ideas somewhere where you can go back to and remind yourself of these things you're learning and these places that you want to work on. Journaling is just a nice way to get things out of your mind and on paper, where you can have it there and come back to it over and over again. And when you start exploring the basic ideas from number three, you can then use your journal to ask a few more questions, maybe take some notes from books. So journaling is a very, very effective practice. Even if you keep it very simple, it can make a huge difference in your life. So that's number four. Get a journal, get a pen, try to do a little bit of writing based on what you're learning every week, maybe every day, and you'll see a big difference. Then number five, and this is a powerful one because it's good for learning, it's good for accountability, and it's good for motivation, and that is to find other people who are also on the path of self-actualization or self-development. Now, this could be something like my channel, where I'm an online mentor, or this could be someone you find like in person who's been on the path for long, or it could even just be, one of your friends is also starting to develop himself and just starting to spend more time with him, bouncing ideas, motivating each other, keeping each other accountable. So number five is to just find others who are on the path. It makes a huge difference, and it's something that just keeps you motivated. It keeps reminding you as well, and it's nice to have someone else who's doing this thing of self-development, because a lot of times it can be a very lonely path, right? In the beginning, you're doing new things that are very different to other people, and no one quite understands you. People might start to question you. So having someone else, like I said, a friend or even like a mentor, makes a huge difference. So consider these five. Number one, start with observation. Number two, getting new ideas from books. Number three is to focus on basic ideas and basic areas. Number four is to get your journal and just to start gently tracking these new ideas and things that you're observing. And then number five is to find others who are eager, others who are self-developing, online, in books, friends, mentors, whatever it be. And that's your 5 tips, guys. So if you're beginning self-actualization, start with these 5. Comment down below if these have helped you or if these are things that you're going to try. And stay tuned. Thanks, guys.